Hey there everybody. So today we're going to show you how to take out a GTX 1080 out of an Alienware X51 revision 3, and we're going to replace it with an ASUS GeForce RTX 2070. So the questions come up, will it fit? Well, let's find out. So here we have the case off, and if you've ever removed the graphics card that came with the system, you'll find that there's two screws, one here and one here. Now we're going to take those off, but I want to show you something really quick here. This 1080, you can see how tight of a fit it is. Right here is the plastic tab, and I'll show you the other one for reference. Now this plastic tab, I had to just snip the very front of that tab. It doesn't affect how the tab functions, but it just gives those extra couple millimeters for the card to be able to fit. So the screws are out, and we're going to pull up firmly on the card holder here, and on this side here. I'm going to firmly pull up, and the card will come out of the socket. Now we have the GTX 1080 out of the system. We're going to disconnect it from the custom PCI interface. There's two locations, one right here. We got this this clasp we're going to undo, and then on the other side there's the white tab in the center. We'll press on that as we disconnect the GTX 1080. The GTX 1080 is out of the system, and you'll see that there is a 2 6-pin to 1 8-pin adapter. We're going to need to change that out because our new graphics card has 1 6-pin and 1 8-pin. So we're going to need to use a different adapter in order to get this new card to work. If I could take just a minute though to talk about the fan. You'll notice here we have a 10mm fan that has been swapped out for the stock fan that's in that place. Now, if you're going to use a 10mm fan, you want to pick one that has a 4-pin socket. 4 pins will allow the system to recognize the fan as stock, and you won't get any error codes. We have a 6-pin to 8-pin adapter, and this one I bought on eBay. It was modified, as you can see, to be low profile, so the wires will give the most compact fitment for the graphics card. And as you can see, once we get into this, we shouldn't need to modify the case at all to get the graphics card to fit. Here we have the new ASUS card 2070, and as you can see, we're going to see if it'll fit. So here we have our graphics card mounted. You'll notice we have the adapter in, and this tab, the top left, does not quite click down, but hopefully it won't make a difference. Here we have the graphics card lined up, and as you can see, I have the adapter piece folded underneath, and how it lays is very important on whether this thing will fit in here or not. So let's see if we can push it down. So I apologize, I didn't have working hands for the camera, but it managed to click into the PCI slot. The holes aren't quite lined up yet, but I'm gonna wiggle it a little bit and see if I can get the holes to line up while I get screws in. So I did manage to get both screws in. Everything looks good. We're gonna close it up and fire it up. Up and running, and I went ahead and reinstalled the driver through GeForce Nvidia Experience. And one thing you'll note is we'll need to install, when you choose to reinstall the driver, you want to make sure to select Clean Installation. I went ahead and pulled up the thermal controls, and I can see here the PCI fan is at 0 RPM. So we're going to open up our system again and want to see if we happen to get any cables in the fan blade, in the way of the fan blade. So I've opened it back up and I didn't see any cables in the way. These actually were laying elsewhere. But what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to move this fan, and we're going to move the fan up into this spot at the top of the system, and we'll see if that allows the fan better airflow. So all I did was I just removed these two screws, and this plastic piece pulls away. I just stuck the fan up there. It fits pretty snugly, and we shouldn't need to actually mount the fan. It should be able to do its job just as is. So everything fit back in nicely. We're gonna close it up and try it again. We're back up and running, and I left the case door off the machine because I was getting a little bit of a strange sound from the fan up top, and it turned out it was rubbing a little bit against something up there. So if you do put the fan up there, make sure it's positioned correctly so that it's not rubbing anything. Sounds like we're in pretty good shape. I'm going to go ahead and fire up a benchmark and see what happens. So I thought we could try a benchmark using TimeSpy, and I'm going to select the Port Royal ray tracing benchmark so we can utilize our 2070. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead to the results. So here's our results: 4436 in the 3D Mark Port Royal benchmarking program. As you can see, it stresses the GPU to the max. We're using the GeForce RTX 2070, and it does fit and function well in the X51 R3. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.